So I think everyone should know by now that they're able to receive a free 5-star standard weapon of their choice when they hit Union level 45. And the weapon that you choose should depend on the state of your account and what characters you have invested in by this time in the game. That being said, remember that you can always choose the weapon that you want and that this video aims to help you choose the right weapon for the most value. So let's break this down into two categories: what weapon types are available and what characters use each weapon. Before we get started, I will be live streaming on Twitch on release and I will be giving away some battle passes, and it's so easy to win. All you have to do is subscribe and follow me on Twitch. So come watch and play along with me. If I don't see you in chat, I will find you. The 5 weapons represent the 5 weapon types available in the game, and each weapon increases energy recharge by 12.8%, but they all have secondary stats and effect sets that set them apart from each other. The 2 weapons that provide crit rate as its secondary stat are the one-handed sword and pistol. The rest of the weapons, such as the broadblade, gauntlets, and rectifier, provide attack percentage as their secondary stat instead. Here's the thing. Critical value stats such as crit rate and crit damage are always more difficult to obtain in significant amounts than attack. This is because attack tends to have a lot more sources and is more easily accessible. As such, critical value stats should be more highly prioritized whenever possible. I'm now going to rank the weapons from least priority to most priority. And remember, their value will be based off of the secondary stats they have and the number of characters who can actually use the weapon. First on the list is the Abyss Surges, which increase basic attack damage by 10% when Resonance skill hits a target, and when basic attacks hit a target, Resonance skills increase by 10% for 8 seconds. For Gauntlet wielders, we have Yuan Wu, Ling Yang, and Jianshin. This is unfortunately the weakest of the bunch in terms of themselves as individual characters and their synergy with this 5-star weapon. Yuan Wu scales with defense, so he can't make much great use of the weapon. Jiangshin is more of a support character, so she won't make much use of the effects or the attack percentage that this weapon brings. Ling Yang, on the other hand, synergizes really well with the weapon since his kit revolves around basic attacks and resonance skills being his main source of damage. Next is Cosmic Ripples, which has an offensive passive of increasing basic attack damage by 3.2% every time a basic attack hits a target and stacks up to 5 times, lasting for 8 seconds. For Rectifier users, we have Encore, Yinlin, Verena, and Bai Zi. Right off the bat, Verena and Bai Zi won't be using this weapon's effect since they are healing supports and Bai Zi scales off of HP. Yinlin and Encore also don't really synergize with this weapon because their kits revolve more around resonance skills and ultimates for damage rather than basic attacks. Thus, none of these resonators resonate with this weapon. Lustrous Razor increases ultimate damage by 8% when resonance skill hits a target, and this stacks twice, lasting for 12 seconds. For Broadblade users, we have Jian, Calcharo, and Taochi. Taochi is ticked off the list immediately because she scales off of defense. Jian and Calcharo can benefit from this weapon by buffing their ultimate damage after landing their skills, but will be dealing heavy damage instead of ultimate damage for the rest of their ult, since it's not really a big burst of damage but rather puts them in a buffed state. Then we have Static Mist, which increases attack for party members by 10% for 14 seconds after performing an outro skill. For pistol users, we have Mortefi, Alto, and Shishia. Now we're getting to the better investment weapons, as this weapon is the best in slot for sub DPSs such as Mortefi and Alto. So Mortefi's outro skill can stack with the effect of this weapon as he provides a 38% increase to heavy attack damage to your main DPS, and Alto on the other hand is a good sub DPS who can utilize this weapon by increasing the arrow damage of the main DPS after his outro skill. And Shishia is a main DPS, so she won't benefit from this weapon as much as the other two. And now the last and most valuable weapon is the Emerald of Genesis, which increases attack by 6%, stacking twice for 10 seconds after hitting a target with a resonance skill. For one-handed sword users, we have Rover, Yang Yang, Sanhua, and Danjin. The reason this is the highest priority is because all of the one-handed sword users can use the weapon effectively. They are all DPS characters that will benefit from the effect and crit rate stat. And since all sword users spam their skills, the effect of this weapon will be up all the time. I also forgot to mention that they're all 4 stars, so this is super free to play friendly as well. In conclusion, you should select the weapon based on the resonators that you have on your account. For example, if you choose to pick Calcharo and want to main him, then pick the Broadblade, because it'll be your best weapon for him in the long run. Just remember that crit rate and crit damage is more rare than attack damage stats, which is why the one-handed sword is the most valuable, as well as being universal to all 4 sword users in the game thus far. Thank you for watching. I hope you got value from this video and now know what weapon to go for based on who you want to use.